it's about the convenience. And I don't think anybody out there would disagree that banks are very, very laborious to deal with now. In the 3.5 years we've been in the boating industry, we've done over $500 million equivalent of charters and sales.
Excellent. Now is boating industry and crypto. The two items are becoming more and more discussed.
Crypto is 24/7, 365. So one of the misconceptions is that crypto is still...
Hi and good day, and welcome to the newest episode of the Yacht Show. This is going to be a really interesting one. Not only because we're not in the studio today, we are at the Palma Yacht Show exhibiting a lovely Sunseeker Predator 74 XPS, which is where you find us, but also because we're going to talk today about the subject of crypto and crypto purchases. During my time in the Middle East in particular, and I've noticed from the US, there's a lot more discussion about purchasing in crypto and crypto transactions, whether it's charter, the purchase, or boat management. So I'm delighted to be joined today by Giles Whitby-Smith of Bitcashier, who's here today to talk with me about crypto and how we can use it in the yacht industry. Welcome, Giles.
Thank you, Spencer. Very delighted to be here.
Great to have you here. And if we can start by just really discussing how you got into this different dimension and world and how Bitcashier came about.
Yeah, I'd love to. So my background is in investment banking.
Yeah.
So for 11 years, I worked in the beginning on the Financial Futures Exchange. And then from there went upstairs, as they call it, to work on desks, doing really investment structured products such as futures, options, various other financial instruments around that. I was 11 years in total in the city for my sins. Left there and then took a little bit of a hiatus, got a bit into property development and so on and so forth, but have always maintained a real fascination for finance. And around 2018, a friend of mine who was actually renting property from me sometime prior approached me and wanted me to try and help him to move forward a business that he was working with, which was based in Liechtenstein, which was in the cryptocurrency industry.
Yep.
It was an exchange. They processed crypto into normal currencies.
Yeah.
And he came to me because he thought I had lots of contacts in banking, and plus I was a friend of his. And I had a look at the business, and it was very, very interesting. It was featuring really this new digital asset thing called crypto, which I didn't know too much about, and it really piqued my interest. However, in the end, what happened was that he didn't sell that business. He exited that business.
Yep.
The business then moved away from what it was, and it sort of, with COVID and everything else, it fell by the wayside. And we decided that what would be a good idea would be to recreate what he had done. He's a software engineer. His pal that came with him was a developer, and they've both been involved in Bitcoin since 2011, mining crypto in my apartment, actually.
Oh, right, yeah. The serious end of it.
Yeah, but they paid their own electric bills, so that was fine. So very, very experienced. They became my two co-founders. We then launched the business in 2019, incorporating it in the UK. We spent about a year building the platform, beta testing, everything else. Then we went live, actually July 2021. The minute we went live, crypto had started to increase in popularity.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that wave post-COVID really crypto just took off and was on the edge of everyone's lips. Yeah,
exactly. And it was still sort of, I don't know, magic and everything else compared to in people's minds. There was a lot less understanding of it. But what happened was that we started to have, particularly in some of the gaming, gambling industries, other movements of money cross-border where crypto could be very useful to move funds out of Africa, for example. It started to gain traction and interest.
Yeah, sure.
So we developed the business, as I say, went live July 2021. But my big interest has always been, one of my hobbies is boating, sailing. I grew up on the Isle of Wight, so water's always been close to my heart.
Yeah.
And I just felt that there was a real opportunity for high-value goods and services to be transacted for people who had suddenly acquired wealth through crypto. and hence Bitcashier was born. That's the brand name of our business.
Got you. Yeah.
And yeah, I started to approach people in the industry. One of the first people I approached was Jim Evans from Super Yacht Monaco. Literally went to Monaco, knocked on doors.
Yeah.
And as you know,
that's how we met.
Also knocked on doors at Sunseeker.
Yeah, exactly.
Got turned away lots of times, but you were very supportive. But yeah, we then built the business from there, little by little, slowly. And so Bitcashier now covers the whole of the luxury industry. We transact largely in super yachts and boating, but also supercars.
Yep.
High-end watches, art. We've done over 10 million of art. Yeah. Numbers wise. We've done huge amounts of in the 3.5 years we've been in the boating industry. We've done over $500 million US equivalent of charters and sales. Excellent. Where people have used crypto.
That's a figure. Yeah. Yachts. Wow. Yeah. Excellent. And we're going now into kind of the discussion about how Bitcashier can assist and collaborate in order to make purchase easier. And for the listeners and the viewers of this podcast, the real reason that we're together now is boating industry and crypto. The two items are becoming more and more discussed publicly and openly, whether it's at shows like this, whether it's in purchasing operations between the potential buyer or the prospect and the broker. Sellers are considering this situation more and more frequently. And what I think we want to do is ensure that an offer in crypto, as opposed to a normal standard currency, is not a strange offer. There is a solution to this scenario if the seller does not want to take the risk of the crypto himself. Yeah. So, let's get to the meat of this, I think, Giles, okay, and talk about how if I were a potential buyer with crypto and in reality, my offer is in crypto, the broker's got to handle that with the seller. The seller may be crypto adverse. Let's talk about how this situation is de-risked for the seller so he gets what he wants at the end of the day in hard currency. Okay.
If I can just wind you back a little bit, because I think one of the misconceptions is that crypto is still, if you like, the wheelhouse of young people under 40. That simply is not true.
Well, there's so many business people who have a small amount, a large amount of investment now who are seeing the headlines all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, we met with 3 guys who were easily over 40 yesterday on your boat here, and they're all talking about their crypto holdings, their crypto investments.
Very relevant. So
I think that's number one thing that everybody needs to be clear of, particularly in this industry. Don't think that your crypto person is going to be some guy with a hoodie on who's going to turn up with a pair of cans on his ears wanting to spend his crypto. It's just not true. Crypto is being used across multiple industries. Why? Because it's 24/7, 365.
Yeah, exactly. It's live. Yeah.
It's live. If we take a yacht purchase, for example, I'm not a yacht broker, but I've got, I think, enough of an understanding as to how the transaction process works. So somebody wants to buy a boat. And correct me if I'm wrong here. Generally, of course, there's the boat viewing. They'll then they'll then go on the trial. They'll then say, yes, I want to buy it. There'll be a survey and everything else. But before that, they might pay a deposit.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so the deposit is generally 10% or so.
10%, yeah, and that's before all the other items like survey, etc. go on. So yeah,
exactly.
So there's commitment.
There's commitment. Now, after that, there's then could be a number, maybe one other payment and then a final closing amount, or it goes straight to the closing amount.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I've spoken to a number of brokers who've explained to me that often the stress point comes in the close.
Yeah.
Because banks are only open generally around the world until, say, 3:30, 4 p.m. Their time.
Exactly.
If you've got a global citizen who's got lots of money, he might have to move his money from one bank to another bank.
Or from one currency to another.
One currency to another. That all takes time through normal banking rails. And remember, 5 days a week in defined hours, generally from 10 till 3. Yeah. Because there's cutoffs. Right.
Yeah.
Then you can have all sorts of jurisdictional issues. If a boat has to go offshore, where has that money got to go into?
Yeah.
And there have been many, many instances where brokers have been on panels at Super Yacht Investor Show, for example, and have explained that there's been delays in closing because of bank issues.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen with crypto. Crypto is 24/7, 365. So what does that mean? What that means is that on the weekend, somebody can pay you a deposit in crypto, and I'm going to tell you in a minute which crypto is the most used one. That deposit is then dealt with, turned into cash immediately on our portal.
Yeah.
You can see that cash in your wallet.
Yep.
You as the broker, so you know that your client has executed the deposit trade. Could be on a Sunday, for example. You then go ahead straight to the survey. Everything goes through. He then wants to do his final balance in the crypto. And again, it's instant. The guy can be saying to you 6 o'clock in the evening, he's calling you from, say, I don't know,
Los
he's down in
Angeles or
Mexico or wherever. And he
yeah.
says, Spencer, I want to buy that boat. I'm going to do it with my crypto.
Yeah.
There's no cutoff period here. There's no need to worry about, yeah, that's fine, but I've got to wait for the transfer to come through Swift and all this sort of stuff. It's instant.
So we're saying it's instant. It happens instantaneously,
and it takes stress away from the broker, and by the way, from the buyer and the seller. Importantly,
but when you said rewind, I think as well what we need to underline is the fact is that Bitcashier is operating as the crypto conversion.
Correct.
Can you explain that?
Yeah,
Bitcashier's part in the actual payment transaction. Okay,
so as a company, we are a licensed, authorized, regulated, and insured supplier of crypto processing services and an exchange.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're fully licensed under EU regulation, which means that we take risk and responsibility for the transaction.
That's fantastic. So number one, if the seller is concerned about that sort of legal side of things, that is covered.
Absolutely, and it's vitally important that you're using regulated, licensed operators to do these transactions because there's a lot of money that's being moved at some point in the cycle, which I'm going to talk to you about in a sec.
Sure.
So how does it work from the beginning? So the yacht broker, we're a B2B service.
Yep.
So what will happen is that the yacht broker will actually sign up with us. We will do all of the KYC, AML on that yacht broker. The reason for that is because at some point, the yacht broker is going to be having in their wallet a big sum of money, right? Which is the sale of the boat.
Yeah. The yacht broker or the stakeholder.
The yacht broker,
exactly.
Stakeholder.
Yeah.
And so we'll do the AML, KYC and everything else required. So everybody knows it's all above legal, because also you're going to authorize the movement of a sum of money to somebody's account, the seller's account or whatever.
Yes.
So
yeah, exactly.
all the financial, safeguards have to be there.
Yeah.
And it's important from the beginning that all the stakeholders are protected, and we ensure that.
Yeah.
Okay. The second thing is, so then what happens is once you've established your account with us, we will give you a wallet, which is essentially just an account.
Yeah, exactly.
Essentially.
Yeah.
You're then ready, willing, and able to accept crypto from your clients, from your buying clients, and from the seller's point of view, the seller it doesn't matter to the seller. It could be anything.
Yeah,
the seller's always going to receive.
Could be euros, could be gold, could be crypto, etc. The point is the incoming entity is not the same. Was what he's expecting on a contract agreed price.
Right. Your contract, your MIBA, EBA, whatever contract is, whatever the contract price is that's been agreed between the buyer and you, the seller's agent, is what the seller is going to receive.
Exactly. Yeah.
Full stop. In that currency. Okay.
And I think that's a really relevant thing to underline is that the customer, the seller will sign a contract for, let's say, £5 million. He gets £5 million.
Correct.
He signs it for €5 million. He gets €5 million.
Yeah.
The risk is not his with the crypto.
No.
That's what we need to underline.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so the process then is when the client, and we will KYC the buying client, by the way.
Yeah.
We'll make sure from your KYC, you will get the passport, you'll get the source of wealth, etc. We need those three things that you get, but we also need to get his wallet address.
Yeah.
This ensures that the crypto that's inside that wallet is clean. We analyze it. We can check from where it's been from the day it was born, and we can make sure it's not subject to any investigation by anybody at all. It's clean crypto. Yeah. Which is also very, very important for everybody involved in the chain.
That's true. Yeah. Again, reassurance. The people who don't know, that's what I think we need to tell the listener and the viewer. That's where we need to be.
And the common crypto that's used most for these transactions is a thing called a stablecoin. The reason for that is that it's instant. Okay, Bitcoin is rarely used in purchases because it's so volatile. Yeah. And it's quite, so therefore most people when they think about cryptocurrency think of Bitcoin and they think, oh, I wouldn't have what happens with the volatility swings. Well, there isn't any volatility swing because what happens is that we will provide you with an ability to create an invoice within the platform, the piece of fintech that when you register to us, you get as part of your account.
Yep.
You can create an invoice and that invoice is sent to your client who's the crypto holder. He has a QR code. He will then scan that QR code with his wallet or he'll put in the alphanumeric number of his wallet. And then that crypto will come over. We will hold the price of the crypto. So, for example, if it's £5 million he's got to send over, what he'll see is he will choose which crypto he's paying with. USDT. I mean, there is a Bitcoin option on there, of course, but XRP or whatever he wants to pay with. He will then click and choose that crypto. It will then tell him exactly how much crypto he needs to send over.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And that would include our fee in that crypto.
Yep.
Okay, which is a small fee.
Yeah, the buyer is paying your fee.
The buyer pays our fee. The yacht broker doesn't pay our fee.
So again, the seller does not have any complication. With currency stroke fluctuations of crypto, but also doesn't have to pay a fee. It's the buyer that pays the fee.
The buyer pays the fee always. So what happens then is that the seller is always receiving the full amount of the price in his chosen currency, the one that's been negotiated.
That's the thing that I think we need to underline is that bottom line, because for as the broker in the middle, there could be an objection about this from the seller. Exactly. However, in reality, we are talking that the seller is receiving the currency he wants. Yeah. And that is so important. It really is.
And the other thing is then, how do we protect the price movement? Well, first of all, stable coins are what they say. They're stable. They're pegged to the US dollar. All right.
Yep.
So then what happens is that we will hold a price for, say, 20 minutes.
Yep.
When that QR code comes over, the guy will look at the crypto guy will look at the price. He'll say, yes, I agree that.
Yep.
If he lets that price wind down, goes off, makes a cup of tea, comes back, oh, I was meant to send the crypto over, forgets.
Not quite so instant.
No, not quite so instant. But what will happen then, he will just refresh and it will come back at the new price. It's dynamic pricing.
Yeah, understood.
So we take that risk on board ourselves. We hold that price.
Yep.
And every time he refreshes that price, it's at the new price of the dynamic price of the crypto.
Got you.
24/7, 365.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What that means is that you, the broker, have no risk.
Yep.
The seller has no risk. The buyer has no risk. We hold the risk, and our fee covers that. We make a little tiny spread there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Understood.
to cover that.
Understood.
So yes, so that irons out that whole volatility aspect of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Then once that's done, he will send his crypto to us before it, or to your wallet rather.
Mm-hmm.
The process is that from the QR code, his crypto comes out of his wallet, heads its way towards your wallet.
Yep.
And before it hits your wallet, it's exchanged on our platform into the cash amount that we
in the correct
advertised
currency.
him earlier.
Yeah.
So when you look in your wallet, you see $5 million in there.
Yeah.
And then you will then authorize us. You'll have an authorized user within your setup. You will send us an email, which we like to do. We choose to do this manually because it's safer rather than automatic.
Mm-hmm.
You will then say, right, please send that money to the seller's bank account or to this bank account here, or some needs to go there, some needs to, whatever. That's down to you to then manage the flow of those funds, but we will move those funds then through the banking processes.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. Obviously, you gave us a couple of figures earlier about the amount of yachting business you've done. What's the largest yacht you've done and been part of the sale of in cryptocurrency? Okay,
well, we're on the process at the moment of a deal that is around €60 million.
Awesome.
And that's going to be full crypto.
Yep.
We've got to the point where we've analyzed the wallet. It's low risk, so we know it's good to go. We're working with yards. I mean, a recent one we did with Denison was a 41-meter Aegean being built in a Turkish yard. That's stage payment of crypto, so it can be used with new builds, as well as with secondhand.
Yeah, so stage payments are covered. Yeah. And of course, we're talking predominantly about sales, but of course, charter is a very popular thing now to be paid in crypto. And also, following on from the sale, boat management can actually be paid in crypto. So we're starting the journey here in description of what is and in 5 years, what size of business do you think this is going to be? Is this going to be the new fresh majority of where buyers and sellers are working, or where do you think the business will be?
It's not only in this industry. We're seeing a massive increase in the use of crypto across multiple industries.
Yeah.
Fuel bunkering for container ships and tramp ships, etc., around the globe.
Yep.
They need to be refueled, and so because it's 24/7, 365, many contracts are fixed in USDT. Gold trading. We have a number of clients of ours who have businesses globally around the world who are choosing. Their executives are choosing to take their bonuses in crypto.
Yeah.
And that's not for any nefarious reason. It's because it's a lot easier, quicker. It's portable.
Yep.
They can go anywhere with it. They can, when they want to spend it, they upload it to a platform like ours. We exchange it into the cash, send it to wherever they want it to be sent to. I mean, it's about the convenience. And I don't think anybody out there would disagree that banks are very, very laborious to deal with now. I don't know anybody that honestly likes a bank. Anybody working as a bank teller out there, you're all great people, of course, you're lovely people. But the mechanics and the operations, the way that banks operate, it's just so old-fashioned. And it's time for a shake-up.
I'm really glad you spent this time with us because, in a lot of people's minds, crypto is that dark area, another dimension where people don't really understand or are a little bit afraid of it.
Sure.
I think the aim of this podcast is definitely to understand that the Browns International as a brokerage and Bitcashier can give a solution to that issue and that problem. We can make it smooth. We really do offer a truly boutique brokerage service. So Giles, thank you very much for your time today. It's been really enlightening, and I hope that the audience appreciate it.
Yeah, and one quick thing, if I can just add, I think what's great about Browns, and we work a lot in the industry with a number of different partners, is that you guys are understanding this is the future.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to understand there's another generation of people coming through.
That is exactly it,
who do not want to pay with traditional old-fashioned currency or fiat means. They want to use the new digital format. And you've got to embrace that or die.
That's brilliant you've pointed that out. Thank you very much. The point we are bridging the gap that is from the conventional deal to the future deal. Fantastic. Thank you very much for your time, Giles.
Pleasure. Delighted to have come on board, and thank you for inviting me.